Everyone's afraid that AI is going to take their job. That's not ultimately what's likely to happen to most of the people listening to this podcast. What's likely to happen to most of the people if they don't embrace AI is that someone who's embracing AI and using it better than them will take their customers, will take their leads, will take their investment opportunities.
You're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody who knows how to use AI, right. Understanding what's around it, being able to extrapolate from the data why this set of data, the 4 or 5 different elements, work together. 20 years ago, I had a notebook on Venice Beach and what was it doing and whether it was going to increase or decrease. And I'm like, oh my, but today I'm like, oh yeah, let me find out about Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, Chat GPT, who is the lowest level of AI. Would you please bring up all 4 of these elements for me inside of Atlanta, Georgia? And what is the historical charts of that, or the historical data?
There has been more job displacement related to AI in the first quarter of 2026 than ever before in human history. It's been almost 150,000 jobs. Literally, like people saw, Meta sent an email, fired 20,000 people with a Tuesday morning email and replaced them entirely with AI. About 35% of people in the United States are not using AI at all. And of the people that are using AI, 90% of them are using it kind of like a Google Plus.
I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter.
Hey you, this is Christina Suter on Real Estate Breakthrough, and I have with me Buddy Rushing and Joey Romero from the Norris Group. Joey has been with the Norris Group for as long as I can remember. I adore him. Sorry, Buddy, but I do adore Joey. No need to be in competition. I'm just saying that Joey has been my friend and companion at these Norris events. In my personal opinion, I always find Joey first and go say hi and give him a hug, check in with him and see how his life is going. And
I look forward to it every time.
Thank you, Joey. I so appreciate it. I love the authenticity and the warmth and your huge heart. It's really just beautiful, Joey, and I really appreciate that. And you've been holding together the Norris Group for a very long time.
Thank you.
Core and central to the Norris Group, and even holding it together through a variety of transitions, some ups, some downs, and all of the things that the Norris Group has moved through. So Buddy is a newer, younger, spunkier young man who has joined the current movement in the Norris Group, and Buddy, I look forward to hearing a lot more about you and what you're up to. But I think between the two of them, they share a brain trust on AI, the tsunami, and how it's going to affect real estate. And I think it's amazing how you guys are choosing to really try to be proactive, which I know the Norris Group to be proactive about where the field's going, how is it going to be affected, what's going to be the movement. I go to the Norris Group Economic Update every single year. I'm sad when I don't make it because I feel like it's particularly important in my ethos, in my education as a professional investor. And I always want to go to the survived real estate. Oh my God, what's it? Survived Real Estate.
I Survived Real Estate.
I Survived Real Estate Group, which is a fundraiser every year. Go ahead.
And not to hijack anything, but this is a Norris Group event. But this is co-founded, co-branded with White Feather AI, which is Buddy's company. So I don't want to take away anything from White Feather because they're the AI experts. We're the education, data experts. So it's a great coming of the minds and great coming together of both companies.
Beautiful. Buddy, that's great. And Buddy, I will give you some time to talk a little bit about White Feather and what it is that you guys do as well. But so thank you. Thank you, Joey, for stopping me because I was unaware of that. So welcome and thank you guys for listening, for tuning into this. And I really hope that we bring you a lot of education specifically on AI. I think it has been all the buzz. I think it's particularly important that we get some grounded and solid information. And I think people sometimes are confused about how AI is going to affect real estate. And it is going to affect real estate. And how you guys see that. I know that Buddy has been studying this very deeply and in minute detail. I don't know if we can do it all justice in the next 20 to 25 minutes, but we will do our best to bring that up. So why don't you each talk a little bit about, your history in real estate and what brings you to this conversation. Joey, why don't you go first?
Okay, thank you. So what brings me to real estate is the great late Aaron Norris. Obviously, I spent a lot of time in the community volunteering through various projects, nonprofit groups, city initiatives. And finally, I had met his dad through a couple of the things that we had done just, with the PIC group. But he finally said, hey, me and Dad want to make you an offer. And I didn't know anything about real estate. I mean, not really. But they brought me over because of the work I had done. And I think they hired the person before they hired the the need,
Position? Yeah.
and so that's how I ended up with the Norris Group, and I spent the better part of 5-6 years sitting right next to Aaron, going to Starbucks every day, and getting the break from the everyday grind, and just that's where I think we really bonded and got to really know each other on a deep connection. How he became my best friend, and miss him every day. Still have my bracelet on every day. It says live your best life, which is what he wanted for everybody, and what he wanted for all of us. He wanted us to almost us to do better than he ever did. And that came through. And I love a quote from the this is one of my favorite movies is The Kingdom of Heaven. And the king asked the other kings, he said, did you not learn anything from your great king? Because he was doing things that were just completely different than the predecessor. And I learned everything from Aaron. Real estate, how to deal with people, how to care about people, how to wrangle his dad in, like how to put all this stuff together. But that's how I came to the Norris Group, and ever since then, he just gave me more and more responsibility. And Bruce just kind of trusted him, and then some of that trust transferred to me, and now I get to call Bruce a very close friend and probably part of my family. I get to text with him all the time. I get to see him every time he comes into town. And my relationship, one of the biggest fears when Aaron passed was that I would lose my connection with Bruce. And, I verbalized that to him, and he said, are you kidding me? Like, why would I? It's like, Joey, I'm never going away. I'm never going away in your life. And that was really, really something to, that I needed, and Bruce, continues to provide for me.
It's what has always attracted me to the Norris Group is their heart and their integrity, and the two are almost equal in the way that I feel like the Norris Group participates, both as sounds like employers, if you want to call it that, but in their community, in the way that they teach, in their classes that they used to teach, the boot camps. And the way that, they continue to share information about the economy and do their hard money loans and the whole business model, that their heart and their integrity are equally weighted and balanced in everything that they do. And it's something I've respected for a very long time. And Joey, you're just another representation of that. Who you are and who you choose to be is equally weighted in both as well. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Buddy.
I couldn't agree more. I think for a lot of people will give lip service to integrity. And what I have found, so I have a background in the Marine Corps, so I went to the Naval Academy, and then I became a United States Marine out of the Naval Academy right around the time 9/11 happened, and within a couple of years. And so I spent the better part of my 20s and into 30s back and forth to Afghanistan and leading Marines in combat. And I will tell you that the words honor and integrity mean something completely different inside a combat Marine unit than they do inside a boardroom at Starbucks or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that's the direction that I come from. And then when I entered into the world of business, I found a lot of people like those words. Very few people actually embody those words. And the Norris Group and everyone that touches the Norris Group in terms of Joey and, Bruce, obviously, and Aaron and so on, Craig, that like they are people who live it and they execute it first, right? In terms, and sometimes it's bad business in terms of you don't make as much money that way. And this is what I've modeled all of our businesses after. So I came into contact with the Norris Group through, I went to NSDREI about 15 years ago when we were just getting started, and I heard Bruce speak, and I went home that night, and it goes so late. You guys go so late with these things. Anyway, so I go home. I'm an early sleeper, right? So I go home, and my wife's already asleep, and she woke up 5 a.m. the next day, and so she was already asleep, and I shook her awake, and this was when we had nothing, right? And I said, babe, you don't understand. I just heard something that like we're going to do it. Like we are going to create generational wealth for our family. And that's insane to say from some kid that grew up on food stamps, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, Bruce and the rest of the people that I heard helped me believe and helped show me the way. And so being able to work with them now to bring what, in my opinion, is the most awesome superpower the world has ever seen in AI, to be able to bring that to the people that they serve is just an absolute honor for me.
It's beautiful. That's great. I'm sure Joey would say it's great to have you on the team. And I want people to understand what White Feather does, right? So you're now the voice of White Feather. You created that. You had the inspiration for it, I think 15 years ago is what you're saying. But what have you created and what is it? Tell us.
Yeah. So, I mean, so our core business is in real estate investing and helping our members build financial freedom. It's exactly the same as the Norris Group's mission, only our mission in White Feather focuses on veterans, first responders, and their families. But with White Feather AI, it actually affects everyone, right? And so our partnership here is to show people how to harness the power of AI to accomplish their goals faster. Because for the first time ever, this insane capability is in the hands of normal people like us, and it gives us more capability than heads of state had 50 years ago, right? And so the purpose of White Feather AI is to demystify AI and to show people how they can use it in their own life to accomplish their goals way faster and way more powerfully than they ever could before. And that includes real estate investing, obviously.
And you guys are doing a whole seminar on this, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, so that was actually something that we didn't even have any idea about doing it, but we spoke like for 20 minutes at this last Bruce Norris event, and the room just mobbed us. They were like, listen, you have to do an event based off of this, a full day to show us how. Like, I get it, Roger, OpenAI and ChatGPT, and okay, fine, but how? How do we analyze properties? How do we figure out where to invest? How do we use it to short circuit and really dive into the due diligence and do it 10 times faster than we ever could before? And so we have actually a campaign that we ran that was born out of AI. We call it the Hyperion campaign, and we can talk about it later, but it's the most successful real estate investment campaign we've ever run ever in White Feather. And it launched 8 months ago. In today's climate, today's interest rates, today's everything, and our cash flow numbers and the numbers of the deals that we've done are better than anything we've ever done, and it's all because of AI.
Tell me the name of the seminar you guys are running, and then I'll let you loose on the AI topic.
So it's Tsunami, the Real Estate AI Summit. It's how investors win when artificial intelligence changes everything.
Beautiful. And I do am excited to get a sneak peek of this. So I'm going to let you loose now. Okay, so tell me about the AI. Tell me about how you think it's going to affect real estate, and tell me about the integration point, because you guys have been focusing your minds on this in particular for a while. So let's just lay some groundwork on what are some of the changes you think are coming down the pipeline, and how is that going to affect real estate? We'll just start with a general go to town.
Yeah. I think in general, what I would say, and Joey, you can feel free to pipe in. Everyone's afraid that AI is going to take their job. That's not ultimately what's likely to happen to most of the people listening to this podcast. What's likely to happen to most of the people, if they don't embrace AI, is that someone who's embracing AI and using it better than them will take their customers, will take their leads, will take their investment opportunities. Because it's just a matter of, like, one of the things we're going to do is break down into 4 different segments: real estate agents and brokers, property managers, investors, and lenders. And what does your life look like in the next 24 months if you fully embrace AI and use it across your business, versus what does it look like if you don't, right? And that's going to be a really, really cool segment, because it's very, very plain and easy to see how this plays out if you don't. And I want to be clear, when I say embrace the power of AI, I don't mean just use ChatGPT like a Google, because that's what most people do. About 35% of people in the United States are not using AI at all. And of the people that are using AI, 90% of them are using it kind of like a Google Plus, which is, again, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Please do that. Please do that. What I'm saying is the people that look at their business and they look at everything from the ability to integrate Claude Cowork or OpenClaw or, even, Perplexity Computer and things like that, to automate workflows, to create analysis engines that just run way faster than we could ever do before. They just are able to move faster and more cheaply, more inexpensively. So you can lead generate so much faster and with almost no capital required. You can do lead follow-up. You can do due diligence and analysis in 30 seconds when it used to take hours to do, right? And you can create automations, by the way. Like one of the things we're doing is we've gotten an agreement with Sean O'Toole to do an API integration with Property Radar, which has 50 million people inside it, with my agentic AI that can literally scrape all of the information, create campaigns, and then create copy, like email and text copy, because it's trained on my voice, and load all of that up into my CRM and then execute it. And that's Maverick, my AI. So when I say Maverick, I mean my AI. Maverick, that's child's play for Maverick. Whereas what would it take if a human was doing that, right? It would take you to pay them. They would take 10 times, 20 times as long. I mean, we've all used Property Radar and click, 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 click. And like Property Radar is amazing, but I'm a human. I can only move so fast. Whereas Maverick can do all of this simultaneously, right? And he can do it at 3 a.m., by the way, while I'm sleeping, because you can set up what's called a cron up to have him work at night if you want to.
So you've just covered. Oh, Joey, you go ahead.
What's kind of interesting is that we just did a webinar last week, Christina. And so just like Buddy said, everybody's using Chat, GPT, Claude, Gemini, and they're just using it like just direct prompting it without customizing, without doing anything. So our webinar that we just did was how do you customize your personal chatbot to sound more like you, make decisions more like you, curate information more tailored to you. And so we did a webinar on that, and you should see the gamut of responses that we got from them. Everything from please dumb it way down, you're going too fast, all the way up to like, hey, we need use case scenarios. I want to see a demo of a deal. And so what's funny is that I was sharing with Buddy this morning is like a lot of the stuff that came from the responses was our run of show on June 13th. Yeah. Basically the things that we're doing. Yeah. They want to see real workflows. They want to see demos. They want to see how you curate, how you're curating the data, how you're taking, 200 properties and whittling down to the 5 that you're going to go after. So that's what they want to see. They want to see real use, and they have a huge appetite, but they don't know how to do it. They're literally, give me the point and click, show us how to do this. And that's exactly what we're going to do on June 13th.
I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I have not signed up for it. I will confess I've not signed up for it. But at the same time, I feel like I'm one of the babies. I'm like, okay, now you need to even define for me some of the basics. I'm like, dumb it way down, because I'm like way at the beginning. But you said you're running a campaign that you've been running for the last 8 months that has been incredibly successful. It sounds like it's a really good case study, a really good example of how you can dig in, use AI to make a difference in your real estate investing.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if people have the ability to listen to this multiple times or to slow it down.
Yes, they can. They can listen to it multiple times and slow it down. It's on YouTube. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Spotify. They have iTunes. They have lots of opportunities to slow it down and re-listen.
Okay. So for the sake of time, I'm going to actually speed up what I say just so that I can get the content in, because this could take, we're going to do a whole thing at the summit event on the Hyperion campaign. Okay. So long story short, I've always had the thesis that if you want to make money in rental real estate, you want to buy in the path of progress. Okay. Path of progress, meaning the economic progress. If you buy somewhere where they're going to have more jobs, more money, more infrastructure, everything, then the value of that property and the rent will go up over time. That's a simple thesis that I've always used, and it has worked by and large, right? So in the world of AI, if you look at the broader picture, macro, you look at the geopolitical stage and you look at the United States and China, and they're in an AI arms race. That's no secret. China has said that. United States has said that. The president of the United States has declared beating China to AGI, artificial general intelligence, as a national security issue, which means that it has the backing of a Manhattan Project, an Apollo project, so on. And so when you have that, and this is just a wild twist of fate, but I actually personally spoke with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson about this a couple of months ago. Just a weird reason I was there. It was crazy. Nevertheless, I did speak to him about that, and he confirmed that was the case. So if we're going to beat China to AGI, we got to do it with this artificial intelligence. In order to do that, you have to have what's called compute, which is these chips. Lots and lots and lots of these chips that provide the computing power to reach artificial intelligence. Those chips are housed in massive warehouses called data centers. Everybody's probably heard of data centers right now. It's kind of the hot topic. What is a data center except an employer and an infrastructure project? And it's the underlying infrastructure to how we beat China to AGI. Okay, so if you understand that SAC, then you understand that when you can find a place where they're going to put a data center, you're finding an infrastructure project, which means money, jobs, all the things that create path of progress. Here's the cool part. Oftentimes they put data centers in non-populated areas. They want land, they want high water tables, they want natural gas reserves, they want local and federal, like favorable state governments. And so Hyperion is the name of a 5 million square foot data center the size of Manhattan that's in Northeast Louisiana outside a town called Monroe. So 8 months ago, I said, $30 billion infrastructure project right next to a town where the median home price is half the national average. Put these two together, I think that this is, so what I did was we unleashed a team of white feather students powered by AI, and I've led them in the last 8 months to do a full-blown AI-driven analysis, due diligence package, thesis, and so on. Long story short, we've purchased 24 properties now, renovated them. We have a waiting list of renters, and our average cap rate is around 12.
Okay. That's lovely.
And so one of the things that he did to prepare and empower those students was he created a dashboard using AI. And that's one of the things that we're going to demo and show you how to do at the June 13th event.
And the dashboard that we created, we don't have coders. We didn't use full stack developers or any of that kind of stuff. We vibe coded it over a weekend.
You what coded it? Vibe coded it?
Which means plain language speak to your AI.
Okay, thank you.
Like literally, Maverick is my AI. By the way, for anybody that's listening to this, I'm going to give you a gift right now. It's called Whisper Flow. WISPR Flow. It is an app that you can download for free. I think the paid version is something nominal, like $100 a year or something. And it is a live AI-powered dictation app that's cross-platform. So when I say I whisper to Maverick, I mean I touch the little button and I whisper into it, right? So I whisper to Maverick, and I'm like, I say things, Christina. When I tell him to do something really technical, like build me a virtual private network that's going to secure my blah, 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 who cares? I don't know any of that stuff. All I say is, hey, Mav, I want to make sure nobody hacks my stuff. Can you protect it? How do you do that? And Maverick's like, yeah, sure can. Actually, what you want to do is port 22 and blah, 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 nerd stuff. And I'm like, okay, that sounds awesome. Go ahead and do that. Let me know when it's done. And then he comes back to me. He's like, Roger that. It's done. You know?
So Buddy's on the abundance, like rah team, but we're also going to talk about the risks and safety that you need to have when you're going to use AI, because you can't just unleash some of these programs on your personal computer, because it can quickly get away from you, Christina. And so we're actually gonna show you how to do that. Tell people who should and shouldn't do that. And we're actually going to have like experts, real estate lawyer, AI expert lawyer that's gonna come talk to everybody about what those risks could be and the safety that needs to be implemented, the guardrails that absolutely have to be implemented so that this doesn't end up losing all your files or just running amok and doing things that you didn't approve.
That's very good, because it's always a balance. Whenever there's new technology, there's always a learning it, engaging in it, being abundant in it, as you talked about, but also balancing it so that there is, one could say a proper use or integration that serves and doesn't necessarily override. And there are lots of examples of new technology coming online, creating some version of damage, and then us going, oh yeah, well, we need to change that.
That's
right? It's all the way from burning coal to gas, gas vehicles, to solar panels, burning birds, to, sonar affecting the whales. It's like we always have to do this course corrective, and I think it's inaccurate to assume that the technology itself shouldn't be brought online just because course correction is going to be required. We've been doing that for generations and for decades of new technology.
We're the ones in line now. So that's why the big talk has been around alignment and making sure that when it does arrive in the superintelligence, that AGI comes around, that we stay at the forefront of why it's there.
That's a fantastic point about you just kind of breezed by it, but it's such a powerful point that a lot of people, because they're afraid of AI. It's confusing. It's changing every single day. It's so and it's so powerful that their brain naturally looks for psychological safety in terms of reasons why they shouldn't be afraid of it. Meaning, as soon as an AI hallucinates, they're like, oh, well, see, you can't trust it. Oh, I'm just not even going to bother, right? Or a robot falls down and they're like, see, robotics will never be, right? They miss the exponential trend because their brain is looking for reasons to not be afraid of it. And what you just said is it's coming online. Like, it's here. And this is what I want to really stress to people. It's if they don't learn about this and fully embrace and empower themselves with AI, then they will unfortunately experience the negative side effects. And you see, there has been more job displacement related to AI in the first quarter of 2026 than ever before in human history. It's been almost 150,000 jobs. Like literally, like people saw Meta sent an email, fired 20,000 people with a Tuesday morning email and replaced them entirely with AI. Block laid off 40% of their workforce. And guess what happened to the stock price of these publicly traded companies after they laid off massive amounts of people? Through the roof, because everybody is all for. So what we're trying to do is help people not experience the disruption, right? If you're a real estate agent that's out there and you are just like doing business as usual, the next 24 months are going to be really, really tough for you. I promise. And I don't want to see that.
Let's double down on that for a minute. Because I saw it somewhere where, you're not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to somebody who knows how to use AI. Right? So real estate agents is a really good example of your job is going to shift categorically. And if you want to continue to remain engaged in the field of real estate as a real estate agent, it's not so much that that's going to disappear as the way it's going to be implemented will change. So can you give us a little bit of your thoughts on that?
Yes, near and dear to my heart, because many of my friends are agents. My dear friends are agents. And here's what I think. I think that your average and below average agents will get eviscerated. And I think that your really good agents will rise to the top, and they'll be able to command massive teams of agents, as in human agents and armies of AI agents. Here's a practical example of how it could happen. Joey is non-AI using agent. Buddy is identical Joey, but AI using real estate agent. I go out there and I say, I want my bot to handle lead generation. So it's able to scrape all publicly available databases and send texts and emails and follow up in a warm and friendly and engaging way. And we all know that people by and large work with the first person who reaches out to them 80% of the time. And they work with people who follow up on a regular basis.
Yes.
And normally humans will give up after about the second or third, or it's some stale automated system that nobody likes. But with agents, it's warm. You can talk to them on the phone. You can engage to them, and it costs me virtually nothing for my marketing dollars, which means I take my marketing budget, my marketing budget, and I'm able to reduce that off of my overhead, which means I'm able to charge 2% for my services, not 3%.
And still be profitable. Keep going.
Still be profitable, right? So I've got what the problem that agents say is they're like, oh, well, AI is never going to replace the human to human connection. Correct. You're right. But that agent who has the same human connection as you, but charges less, they have the same service, same human connection, but they seem to have more time for you. They respond to you more frequently. Why? All of the administrative overhead that they were having to do before is now offloaded. And now they're able to free up their time and become even more human, and they charge less. You tell me that's not somebody that is going to form a reputation and gather a lot more interest in terms of customers, as opposed to somebody who's drowning in admin work. And it's one really small example of what you can use AI to do.
Well, and as you automate some of those things, Christina, it allows you to amplify and do more of the things that people actually like. Is this communication, human to human
thing, which we actually like doing.
Yes, so you're able
valuable than ever before. Human to human connection is going to be more valuable than ever before.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm going to be teaching at that day is how to stay the human in the loop, and how to become a super powered real estate investor, real estate professional by using these tools.
Yeah, the capacity to scrub data is huge, and scrub data, not just to scrub it, like grab a whole bunch of data, like you said, like, Google search plus, but scrub data as in, no, this is relevant data. This is why the data is relevant, understanding what's around it, being able to extrapolate from the data why this set of data, the 4 or 5 different elements work together. If I want a city that covers my 4 primary elements of any city I would choose to invest in, Right, you can customize it, right? So I'm looking at, okay, I'm looking at unemployment rates. I am looking at, growth rates in the city. I'm looking at having a certain level of industries, 4 different industries, and I'm looking at it being able to have a positive price to rent ratio. Like those 4 elements. And how much time it would take me to look up those, it used to take me to look up those elements. Like it would take me I remember when I did Venice Beach, like 20 years ago, I had a notebook on Venice Beach and what was it doing and whether it was going to increase or decrease, and it was still being regentrified. And I'm like, oh my! But today, I'm like, oh yeah, let me find out about Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, Chat GPT, who is the lowest level of AI, would you please bring up all 4 of these elements for me inside of Atlanta, Georgia, and what is the historical charts of that or the historical data? And it just dumps all this data in my lap that used to take me hours to research. And now what I understand is that I can also say, this is what I'm looking for. So now do 10 cities and make sure I have this return. I want, population growth above 1% per year. I want to have unemployment that is above 6% in, 60% of the neighborhoods. I can literally give it parameters and it's going to give me my list.
It's a super powered buy box.
That's right.
Right? I mean, that is the lower end, by the way. That's not even artificial AI. That's still language-based AI that is trying to scrub data, then can abstract a thing out of it. And so we're running out of time, which I'm very, very sad about because I really wanted to go into more. So if you can, you gave 3 areas that real estate is clearly going to be affected by. It's going to be affected by, being able to do contact management. Is the real estate agent going to be capable of doing it? Is the fundraiser going to be able to do effective contact management? Are you going to be able to scrub data? Right? We just talked about scrubbing data and the value of that. Are you going to be able to make your business system more efficient by using the value of AI and therefore make your human beings more human in their engagement in the world by using AI to support them? Is there any other sort of bottom line or top line ideas that come to mind on this?
I mean, another one we're going to hit is property managers.
Great.
Because that's going to be, property management, if you think about it, like there's a lot of it. If you're doing it right, there's a lot of systems and there's a lot of sort of digital logistics that happen. And that's wiffle ball for an agent, right? The digital logistics. And so anyway, we're going to talk about that as well. But I think the biggest thing is what people need to understand is take a look at your business and see like what the different important parts of your business are. And a lot of times those equate to the humans that you have that are working for you or working with you. And so take a look at all those humans. And I'm a big fan of like humans, right? I prefer humans over any other type of animal form or any
I don't know, buddy. I've heard you talk about Maverick.
But I love Maverick. I do love Maverick. But I'm a huge fan of humans. And so I'm not a big fan of just laying off somebody just because AI can do their job. What I prefer, and again, everybody looks at it differently, but what I think is I look and say, okay, how can I train that person to use AI and then up level their skill set? So now they become more capable and more powerful. And so one of the things is look around your business and say, what if every person that works with me was really good at using AI? What could we do as a team if everybody was super powered? Right. And that's the goal of the Tsunami event, is to bring I definitely individuals more than welcome to come. Please do come. But business owners, bring your teams. And one of the things you're going to leave with is we're going to show you you're going to leave there with a specially trained AI advisor. You're going to leave there with a blueprint for how to recreate your own Hyperion campaign. We've documented everything. We've got a dashboard. We can show you how to build your own dashboard. You choose your own city. There's dozens and dozens of data centers that are going right now. Not to mention the power plants that are associated with those. The TerraFab in Austin. TSMC is building a $90 billion chip fab in Arizona. They're everywhere. And so this is not something that I'm trying to keep close hold and secret. Like, use it. Use my exact business model. I don't care. There's abundance everywhere.
Yes.
You just have to harness the power and use it to build something really cool.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. On that, let's close with the event is when. Where can people register? They really need to get their backsides there. Clearly, we can see the depth of change that's going to be happening in real estate, not to replace real estate, but to actually support it and supercharge it. So tell me the details, Joey.
Okay, so it's Tsunami again. It's the Real Estate AI Summit. It'll be in Ontario, California, just like we had in February. It'll be on a Saturday, June 13th, and it'll be all day. And it'll be the same thing that you're always used to from us. You know, you're going to get breakfast, snacks, But what's really
Yeah,
cool
you guys
about
do.
this,
You spoil us. You do. You spoil us. It's true.
but the best part of it is who comes to the events and the people that you meet. You never know, especially with this. We've got folks that have been following for Bruce forever.
Yeah.
And this is like the first new thing that they're gonna come and learn in a very long time because they've been doing it so long. And so get around some people that have just tons and tons of knowledge. And what I love about our community is that nobody gatekeeps. You strike up a conversation and they'll tell you exactly what they're doing. They'll say, hey, this is what you should do. Here's my number. Here's my cell. And so come network, learn a ton. We're going to record it. So you're not going to have to, try to soak everything in because I guarantee you this is going to come at you hard. This is one of the most, it changes so quickly, Christina. I mean, just from February to now, like I feel my presentation that I did that day was just completely outdated. And it's just coming that fast, and there's no slowing it down. It's here, so you got to come learn and get connected with the people that are learning at the same pace that you are. And buddy, I'll let you have the last word on it.
He talked about this is going to be different than anything you've ever experienced. You don't need to bring a notebook and a pen. Bring a laptop. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to harness this power real time. And you don't need to take notes. You can if you want, but we're going to have Otter AI taking notes and transcribing the entire thing within 3 minutes after the end of the session. You'll all receive a TXT file you can upload to your specially trained AI, and it'll create for you a breakout point of bullets of what happened that day that's most relevant to your
business model
and to you, and then integrate it into a 90-day action plan that'll take you from then to the next time we meet.
I'm now currently using AI, not very fancy, but to create a 6-month leadership plan for myself to grow my own leadership and leadership skills for the same reason, right? I'm looking to shift categorically, and it's just a small example of how AI can truly make a difference by, using them as a member on your team. All right. Tell people how they can get a hold of you individually as well. So I know there's you go ahead, buddy. You go first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty easy to find. I'm on all the socials, just Edward Rushing or Buddy Rushing. It doesn't really matter. You can send me a message on LinkedIn or Facebook or what have you. Two things that I want to say. I always like to give people something for free.
Please do.
I like to give them.
Give them something valuable.
Advice. Yeah, guidance. Yeah. So Whisper Flow for sure. That's going to spike your efficiency. It's also going to really free up your mind cognitively because I can get into the neuroscience at another time, but basically it just allows you to be more creative and expressive. Second is Prompt Cowboy. If you're not using Prompt Cowboy, then go there. It's a free website. You can take a normal prompt like, hey, go build me a website about how awesome kittens are. And it'll take that prompt and turn it into what's called a JSON prompt, which is how computers think. And you can copy and paste that into your large language model. It'll really increase the abilities, the responses that you get. And it's easy to do.
Thank you, Betty. White Feather, Betty Rushing. Joey.
So the NorrisGroup.com, or you can call me directly, 951-823-8266, or just send me an email, joey@thenorrisgroup.com. That's one of my favorite parts of my job is getting to talk to investors all the time. I just got a call right before we got on, and it was somebody who came on to our Florida boot camp in 2019, and he's like, explaining to me who he was, and I'm like, I know exactly who you are, like Matt, like you don't have to go there, I love it. I love talking to investors. I love seeing everybody. That's one of my favorite things about this job.
Beautiful. And this is Christina Suter with Real Estate Breakthrough. FIBI Pasadena, ITI Education and Networking are my 2 real estate meetings a month, not to mention my consulting practice. So it's wonderful to have you guys here on the show. Thank you very much for being so generous. I will have to sign myself up for the June event. Clearly, I'm falling behind. No. Okay, I'm gonna have to sign up for the June event. If nothing else, I will get to see both of you wonderful and handsome men, people who are dear to my heart. And also stay educated, which I counted on the Norris Group to keep me educated on what's happening and what's coming my way. And this AI is just a whole new version of that. Thank you so very much for listening to Real Estate Breakthrough. Check in 2 weeks for the next show.